it's nice to have some parents tuning in and discussing the topics on parenting, something that we're all in it together. Okay. I guess I'll introduce myself later, but I have 3 boys. I'm also a parent and also a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are all working mothers. Just that we
That's
have
right.
different professions. We're just teaching all day long, 24/7.
Yeah.
We teach other kids, go home, continue to teach our kids. Yeah. So I have my staff asking me, do you teach your children at home? I say, of course I do. I don't stop. I teach them, what was it, from the youngest to the oldest at 16. Yeah. And I think it's not just like teaching like academic stuff, but also, to encourage them along the way. It doesn't mean that you're 16 or they are 13 and you let go of them and say, they're old enough, let them be. I think it's good to, to guide them, bring them to the correct path, to encourage them and be with them in this entire journey for as long as we can.
Yeah, Faith, it just doesn't stop at your children. When you have grandchildren, you also have to continue to teach,
That's
right?
so
It's not
right.
just that.
That's so right. Yeah, my mom will come by and ensure that I have food. I take care of myself. I get organized. I say, don't worry, I know what to do. But mothers never stop worrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick shout out to our parents also. I mean, we're going to be talking about the subject matter that you've signed up for. If you could send us some encouragement and also some agreements that will actually, kind of encourage us along the way to discuss a little bit more. Just like to say that different people, or rather different parents have different parenting styles. I think when we prepared this seminar, Teacher Faith and I came together to discuss. Of course, we try our best, with our experience and also as a teacher and also as a parent to put this together to kind of like empower you to do the best you can in this parenting journey. And of course, with this seminar, we want to tell you that you're not alone in it, because as teachers, we are also parents, and definitely, it's always something that we will discuss through our lifetime over, what we can do to help our children better, because as time changes, we also cannot say that, oh, my parents used to parent me this way, therefore we have to do it this way. If I may say it, sometimes times have changed. We also have to read up, understand what the child needs, and then, try to navigate it so that it benefits the children too, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the point that we are in this together, I think that support group is so important. Sometimes we feel a little, embarrassed to share some problems that we face with our friends, and then we keep it to ourselves and then we handle everything on our own. But it's always good to find the positive group, the right group of friends where you can air it and find that support group to walk this journey together. Yeah, it's not a gossip session, okay? It's not a gossip session. It's a session where you know that this group of friends or people can be together and give good suggestions, give each other good reminder, okay, and walk this together with you. Yeah. Okay, let's get started. It's 7:40 already.
Okay, great. We have a healthy number of participants. Very, very heartened to see everyone here today. Good evening. And once again, we hope that, you had your dinner and you're relaxed and can discuss stuff with us as we go through the slides to kind of like navigate through our parenting. Okay. Well, we prepared this slide to say that you can't go back to change the beginning, but we can start where you are and change the ending. Meaning, I know that the topic in hand is about the results that our children have received, right? Sometimes it's difficult to keep harping on what they have done, but then let's just move on. Let's just figure out what we can do to help them move on as well. All right, as parents, you have to move on, and then also we have to try to help our children move on, right? Okay, so Faith, I think the next slide is to have you introduce yourself. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. So good evening, parents. For those who do not know me yet, I'm Teacher Faith, the founder of Blue Tree, specialized math for a very long time. I'm not that young. So teaching is my, I think, one and only job. It's my childhood dream to be a teacher, but definitely more thankful that I got to specialize in math after my third year in teaching. Okay, so I was in the mainstream for 3 years. Then after which my second part of my teaching career was just specializing in math when I got to teach the GEP students in Raffles Girls Primary as well as Forsyth. So I have 3 kids. You can see in the picture, they're 16, 13, and 11. And of course, they've been with mommy doing and not doing math, listening to math once they're in the womb and all the way. So they are also a big fan of math, very much like myself. And I truly believe being a teacher is not what I do, it's who I am. Yeah, walk the talk. Back to you.
Okay, wait a second, just move on. Okay, right. A bit about myself. I actually teach at the West Coast branch. All right. If you're interested to know West Coast is, do surf the Blue Sheet website, and we actually have an outlet over at West Coast Drive. Okay. So for myself, I teach English, math, and science at outlet, and I've been teaching for about 10 years. A full-time teacher, tutoring students. We help students, rather I help students, navigate their years from primary school all the way to secondary school, as I teach secondary English as well. Okay, for myself, I have 3 boys, okay, as you can see from the picture. And then, my belief is if you train up a child in the way that he should go, when he's old, he will not depart from it. A little bit of biblical truth for myself as I'm a believer. Just wanted to share with you that my passion has always been to kind of tune in with the youth and the young people and to kind of navigate them through the years as best I can. As I've mentioned before, knowing that times have changed and things are different right now from where it used to be when I was young. I mean, but then the passion is still there. That's why I am a tutor today. Yeah.
Amazing. It's not easy to have 3 boys. So any mothers out there? 3 boys, 4 boys, 3 girls, 4 girls?
Do give us a shout, type in the chat to say hello, or tell us more about yourself too. We can see you. Yeah.
I know now they can't type in the chat. Okay, try now. Yeah, I've changed the setting. I see now. It says type to no one. No wonder he has been like silent on our side. Thank you. Hello. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah. Thanks for raising your hand. We can see you. Great.
I have 3 boys. Okay.
Okay, so we have parents coming in. Oh, nice. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Great. Let me just quickly get on to our message today. Okay, so basically we're talking about purposeful parenting today. And we're talking about results, like after your child receives the results, then what, right? I mean, basically we have certain expectations of our child's grades, or we may be a little bit more laissez-faire about the whole thing, but regardless, actually the answer to how should parents react or how should we react, because I'm also a parent, right, to a report card or results that come back, okay, actually it can be pretty clear because there's also a right and wrong way to approach it. Okay, so I'm here to share some tips with you on how to deal with these results when it comes back. All right, and our note on purposeful parenting actually means joining our children on their journey, okay, and to support them in their decision making and also to commend every achievement. Commend means to praise them, not to commend, to nag, but to praise them. Yeah, just in case there's some misunderstanding, right? Okay, so I was just talking to a therapist, talking to her, and I asked her, can we keep praising our children? She said, yeah, you should keep praising your children because they can never get enough praises. And sometimes as a parent, it can be difficult to give praises, but we need to navigate so that we know that give praise when praise is due, right? Okay, so looking at results, what if your child gets an AL2, AL4, or an AL6? Okay, what do these mean, right? First, you must understand where the bandwidth is for each of these ALs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think teacher Faith, if you don't mind, we did speak about how some of these ALs, the bandwidth is pretty short, right? It's pretty small, and some of these are really huge gaps. So then do you have a point to navigate from there?
So parents, yeah, sure, thank you. So the parents just take note of like where AL1, 2, and 3 is. Okay, look at the mark range. It is a bit different from the grading system in P4 and P3, right? Yeah, so from 80 marks to 90 marks, that's like a 10-mark jump, but it goes span over 3 grades. So, five mark per grade. There's a lot of effort to put in order to see that jump from 80 to 85 to 90. The children needs to be super conscientious in their work, not just being good at it, but they need to have this conscientiousness to be able to fine-tune their steps, check their work, really minimize careless mistakes, and so that's how they can attain such high score. Okay, and as we look down the row, I think take a look at AL6. Some parents was pretty shocked that some of you are not aware of this mark range at AL6 from 45 to 64. It is close to almost a 20 mark, right? And I had a conversation with a parent a couple of weeks back. He says, Faith, any way to help my child to pass? So the definition of pass has changed. It's not like 50 mark is considered a pass. Yeah, what would you like the child to get? Because whether you score 45 or 50, it will still be AL6, right? Yeah, so I would say that if your child can maintain a 45 to 50 range, then let's try to keep to this mark, okay? But if your child is scoring less than 20, this is what you need to take note of. If it's less than 20, do you know that the child would actually need to retake PSLE? If you had not have this conversation with your school teachers or the HODs or your form teacher, please go and find out a little bit more. Okay, anything 20 below 20, okay, 20 exactly at 20 is AL7, but less than 20, all right, the child will need to retake PSLE. That is applicable for English or math, okay, and or math, English or math. So any of these subjects. But the rest, if science you score 20 is fine, you can go on. Chinese you score 20, then you can still get promoted, but not for math and English. Okay, I hope that is clear for parents out there. Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah, let's just go down to the next slide as we explain what we're trying to achieve today. Okay, so you get grades, the grades and the results from your children, they present it to you. Okay, receiving that grade can mean different things to different people. All right, but we've kind of streamlined it to two perspectives. All right, you receive that grade. Grade is actually the objective measurement of how well our children can progress through the school, right? And also as a benchmark to see whether if they really understood the material that they're studying for the exams. Okay, so and also to help us understand if our child has actually stayed organized and diligent through his time in school, right? But then grades are not entirely a fair indication, right, of how hard they are actually studying or how much they are learning, and also definitely not a potential success of what they will do later in life. Definitely not, right? Sometimes with grades, you must understand that this generation, we had this COVID that we've been through. And with COVID and the shutdowns, and the quarantines, sometimes they may not have mastered the topic or the subject matter. So they are really, really trying to catch up. So just need to understand a little bit better over what it means when you receive that grade. Okay. Now, so the next thing I want to share with you is
I love this one. I love this one.
Yeah. So DNA, we've broken it down to dialogue, navigate, and assess. Okay, now let me just share this with you. Dialogue. Okay, when your child gets that grade, right? What do you mean by dialogue with your child? Now, I'll give you time, if you give me space. Let me explain. So actually, you need to distance from that dialogue. Okay. Some steps to share with you is when your child receives that results, okay, give him or her some space. Very important, right? Don't try to react at the moment when they receive the result, when they just told you. Sometimes it's actually very, very tempting, you want to express your frustration. It's very tempting for all parents, like us, to want to express our frustration. Because I've also been there, all right? Especially when it's not a new issue, right? When you receive that sort of results again and again. Okay, but parent, take heart, right? do understand that you should actually try to schedule a time to talk to your child. Okay, sometimes you should actually wait until they've calmed down a bit, you know, then schedule a time to talk to them, or rather we have calmed down as well. All right. Sometimes we can also say things like this. Let me just share with you a slide on this. All right. Finding a time, the right time to talk to them, and also, you know, finding the right opportunity is very important. So we just like to share with you, there are some things that we can talk to them about and the way we put forward to the child, okay? We could, you know, say things like, you know, let me just have a look, create an open discussion and try to establish, you know, some of the feelings that he or she is having. Okay, there's actually sometimes looking at the grades. I mean, talking from experience, we should try to avoid maybe a screaming or shouting match. You know,
Yes.
you know, because usually nothing productive comes out of all the situations. Some parents can resonate with me as well. So it's a matter of how we actually put forward how we want to speak to the child. Okay, so here are some recommended things that we could do. For example, you might say things like, okay, I kind of noticed that, you know, maybe for math, your grade is a little lower than what we both thought it would be. So, you know, come help mom understand what had happened. Okay, kind of open up that conversation, have an open conversation. You know, rather than, you know, tell them things like, hey, you didn't do well in maths, it's entirely unacceptable. So you can see from the two tones I've just given you as an example, which is better, right? Think about it. Okay, maybe another phrase you could use is help me understand. Okay, help me understand. You know, you can try and give a child a chance to explain to himself. Okay, explain what he actually thinks had gone wrong. Okay, let's try and take some time to listen to what the child has to say and let them state their feelings. All right. You know, we can say things like, hey, it sounds like you're having a hard time with maybe algebra or fractions. Okay, and maybe it's making you really, really frustrated. Okay, so on this note, right, by actually stating, right, that feeling, you have actually shown the child that you're actually on his team and on his side, you know, and then from there, you know, you can try and ask questions like, what do you think we can do together to help bring the grade up? I always have an open conversation and try to be on the side of your child.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a recommendation.
Let me share a story about this student I had last year, I think, last year. So similarly, the math grade got worse under my care. Yeah, so of course, mom was angry. Mom came to me and said, what happened, teacher Faith? Last year was 90, then 80, then 70, then this time round failed. And I know that in the weekly progress with me, she was doing fine. She could do the work. She had clear understanding of the concept. And I told mom, I'm really clueless. I do not know what. Can you probably spend some time speaking to her and find out, you know, exactly like how it's written there. I noticed your math grade has been lower, and maybe you can help me understand what had happened. And so that night, they spent about 3 to 4 hours talking to her daughter with you know, the family sat together, and she broke down crying that she's going through some friendship issue in school. There were some bullying cases, and there were a lot of peer pressure, because I was actually suspecting, could the pressure came from the school teacher being in the top class, and the teacher might accidentally say words like, oh, all of you are not ready for PSLE, all of you are not the cream yet, you are not top, you're not good enough, you know. Yeah, we may accidentally blurt out something like this. So fortunately, it's not from the teacher. It was actually from friends. She found that all her friends were just so good at math. They were all laughing at her. They were mocking her. And actually, she wasn't that bad, right? But it's like made self-belief where everyone keeps saying that, hey, you're so lousy, you're so ugly, you're like not good. And then every day you just keep affirming yourself, yes, I'm not good. And so yeah, then she kind of admitted that she had thoughts of doing something silly. So we quickly came together, school teachers, counselors, myself, and we helped the child throughout that whole journey right up to PSLE. She did well. Okay, no longer fail math, but for prelims, she cleared 70 to 75 grade. So that was tremendous improvement. all through a lot of believing in her, and she start to believe that she can go to mom when she's in trouble. She can come to teacher Faith when she's, lost at math, or she wants to text me or talk about anything. She can do that. Open conversations before we judge. So I think it's important how Gladys has put it across. Find time, make time for that conversation. I think that is really going to make a difference. There's so many things happening in school every day, right? Yeah, they could be bullied in school, they could be addicted on their phone, but in front of you, they probably look fine, but they could be probably playing phone in the toilet or whatever reason it is. So have more conversation. Maybe they're struggling with their own time management skills. They might need your help, and you can make a difference as well. Thanks for sharing, Melissa.
Yeah. I mean, for teachers like ourselves and also parents, we can only share with you our experiences and what we've gone through. We also want to thank our audience parents for being, understanding and kind over what we have shared as well. I mean, our main objective is really to help each other navigate through this journey. All right. And sometimes it can be hard opening up, that conversation with the child, but it is very important as us parents to step in to just have a listening ear, because you never know what can come out of it, and then you get new perspective on things. So having that dialogue and finding the right time to have that dialogue is most important. So for this particular topic, let's just pray for the right time to talk to the child. All right, and most importantly, ask for a good opportunity to reach out to the child as well. And then the child will be able to open up better for us, to us in a sense. Okay. Just like to move on to the next one. The next one is about navigation, right? What do you mean by navigation? As you can see, there are some points here that I'd like to share with you. Sometimes to navigate, okay, we ask ourselves then, knowing how they feel about the grade, and after establishing that sense of agency, how do we move on? Okay. We did recap about, we talked about purposeful parenting. Okay, what purposeful parenting actually means, you need to join them on the journey, support them in their decision making, and kind of commend, give praise when praise is due. All right. So an amount of time actually should be spent planning should be spent with a child to help them to reflect on their actions and their grades. So we can also look at things like establishing schedules, rules and limits, and together with the child, create some short-term goals that will definitely depend entirely on them. And also, we can try to help them to have certain self-control with strategies. Okay. Now, what strategies? All right, we can talk about things like intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Again, I would just like to talk about intrinsic motivation. Okay, so in perspective, what's intrinsic motivation? All right, for adults, as parents, intrinsic motivation actually means that we ask ourselves, how much longer can we stay at our jobs, at our work? And we actually stay in it sometimes because we believe in our work, right? We believe in the job that we do. Okay, or maybe if we play a sport like soccer or squash, why do we continue to play that sport? Okay, that's because we sometimes enjoy it. I mean, we do enjoy it because it makes us feel good, and we do it because we know that it is a sport after all, and we can get some exercise out of it, and exercise is actually good for our health, right? So that's kind of like intrinsic motivation, understanding and knowing that when we do it because it's good for us. Okay, so then therefore, how do we as parents do we find a way to encourage our child to work longer at the subject? Okay, and how do we encourage them to believe that the work that he's doing in his hard work in due time, it will definitely give him better results? Okay, what I can suggest is we can use things like positive affirmation, because we want to also have that in a positive mindset influence. So at this day and age, positive influence and positive mindset is actually very key to having good mental health as well. Yeah, I think we have been on this subject topic in the newspapers and everything. So then it's important for us to play a mindful role about introducing things like a positive, healthy mindset about themselves. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so then the next thing we would look at is extrinsic motivation, right? So extrinsic motivation sometimes can be defined as motivating our child to actively do something based on meeting the external goal, meaning that, sometimes, if you do this, then I will give you a praise, the praises, and also the approvals. So for example, things like if your child is a sports person, like when you win a competition, right? What is the extrinsic motivation? Oh, I get my medals. Okay, I get a reward and an award. Okay, and this definitely could, help the child to train harder because there's a prize at the end of the journey, right? So this extrinsic motivation, looking at parent and child, could be things like when they walk across the room, right? How do you actually beckon him on? Okay, we could always encourage the child with our praises, with our laughters, our words of approval. Okay, and actually these may be his good incentives, right? Good enough for them to know that, hey, mom is actually there, encouraging me on and smiling at me, knowing that she'll always be there for me. So this extrinsic motivation actually has benefits built into the task, and it's like if you do this, then you get rewarded. Okay, so extrinsic motivations can be actually very, very clear cut and defined. It's quite easy to give extrinsic motivation. All right. So this is also when the child learns actions have consequences. Such teaching can also kind of like prepare him for life, because we know that, it gives us some control into molding their character as well, knowing that, if you do work hard, there's something at the end of it that will help you gain certain benefits. All right. Okay. Now we just want to share with you that, there are some answers that could be less clear, So it's good actually to have a combination of intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. Okay, it's just from my experience and sharing. You can mix the two. It's not just intrinsic or extrinsic. Both can be mixed. So when you actually mix the two, when a child is studying, you give your guidance to the child. By giving intrinsic motivation, you allow him to have the motivation to study. Okay, understanding what actually is the right motivation when they're studying. All right, you're studying because if you get good results, then maybe you can go to the schools that you have always wanted to, attend. But all schools, I mean, we look at schools knowing that, some schools are actually suitable for the learning of our children. So it's important that we understand our children as well. Okay, and talking about extrinsic motivation and mixing intrinsic, so that kind of extrinsic motivation can also allow them to move forward, looking forward to some tangible goals at the end of their results or whatever they have achieved. So the combination of both, I feel, is important.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. When I see the word like laughter, screen time, so the children are allowed to have more screen time. That's what it means, right?
Okay, so screen time is, okay, we talk about updated parenting. I know screen time, sometimes we struggle, right, in giving our children. I would say we don't outright give them that screen time. In fact, most parents will try to manage and control, right? And having that conversation and saying that, okay, perhaps that screen time is not good for you, and you all know, right? But giving you the extra screen time allows you to maybe watch that cartoon or understand or do a bit more research on certain topics that you like, or finding out a better hobby. I mean, navigate them properly through the extra screen time that they have. Extra screen time on the right stuff is not bad. That's my perspective. Yeah, it can help them to spend more time on things that they really have interest in.
Yeah. So parents, you have to tread very carefully. What kind of extrinsic motivation are you giving? First, you give the phone, then you give the iPad. I mean, like, if you do well, I'll buy you a phone. Then if you do well, I'll buy you another iPad. And what's next? A laptop. Then what's after a laptop? Right? Yeah. So we need to like tread it quite carefully. Like, what really, really will make the kid just work together with you. I would
motivate them.
Yes, I would definitely think that it's good to create a lot of family time, bonding, dialogue. When you have a lot of conversation, then two of you will be able to be more aligned with the goals and objectives. And even if the moment where you say something like, I think you should not use a phone today, surrender your phone to me now, You know, you will not go into an outburst of rage or anything because you had many conversations and there are a lot of understanding why he had to reach this stage where he need to give up the phone for a day or two, you know. Yeah, so yeah, don't be too extreme in your parenting style, okay? Yeah, like very kind and nice for 2 weeks, and then by the third week you went crazy and say, okay, enough of all this. Then you go into a rage and say, okay, forget it, no phone forever anymore. Then it's like very, very extreme. So be consistent as well. So we'll be back to that first pointer, dialogue. Create a lot of dialogue, a lot of family time, a lot of conversations. That will really, really help a lot. Yeah.
Very familiar, Faith, very familiar with what you just said. Yeah, I'm sure we're all parents, right? We've gone through these
Yeah.
conversations.
My children don't have screen time. So they have all the time on their screen. So there's no point giving extra because it doesn't motivate anymore. So therefore it will be like, all I need to see is you finish the task of the day or the task of the week. If I get any call from school or I see that your result has dipped, then I think we need to set some control for the next week or the next term. Yeah. Okay. So we all work quite
It's always
differently.
about, yeah, but it's always about teaching them and guiding them accordingly.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
navigating them to the right places.
Yeah, right.
So
You're right.
it's also about us knowing what is modern day parenting, because it's actually very different from where we were when we were kids as well. Yeah, it's so different. Yeah,
Very,
but we try
very
every day. We
different.
try every day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Fail to plan
So
and
then
plan to fail.
exactly, fail to plan or plan to fail. What does that mean? Okay, so I put this here. I mean, it's important actually to sit them down to plan with them. All right, we have study plan, revision plan. You can work out their daily schedules, right? So it's important that we kind of establish to them that there should be time to play and there should be time to study, because I know that kids sometimes they come to us and say, you know, I have so much, I keep having tuition, I keep studying, but I don't have time to play. But if you actually plan it and you show them that you've planned it, it kind of gives them perspective to see that life is about balance. I mean, as an adult for myself, I always tell myself life's about balance. We can't be working the whole time. We should always spend time for our family. As a child, as a wife, we spend time with our husbands. As a child of my parents, I try to spend time with my parents. And also as a parent, we try to spend enough time with our children as well. So life is balanced. It's important that we try to plan and involve them so that they will see that you know, you have a vested interest in them. Okay. Oh, Andrea, thank you for pointing that out. Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
All
schedule
right.
without the age. Yeah.
Yeah.
So planning, I believe that it is very much needed, like to guide the children how to plan it. Yeah, they were brought to this world not knowing how to drink milk, how to do this, how to do that, right? So they all have to be guided in that sense, including how to do filing, how to pack their bags, what thing to put in their
Yes.
pencil case. They all have to be guided. So the day that the child doesn't need to be guided, I had many students like that. Okay, I can share a very quick story. Yeah, so I guide my children in the various stages that I see a bit lacking. We need to help them, assist them until they are a little bit more independent. And yes, they take off and do things on their own. So I had one student, there are a lot of gifted students that fall into the super responsible category. I have one particular child, too responsible, like too much of that the mom was so worried. She planned her schedule so much that the mom doesn't need to be around. She typed her own excuse letter because tomorrow she has a piano exam. She typed her own excuse letter and say, please excuse my child because she has a piano exam at this time. She will leave the school at this time, and I seek your understanding in this. She placed the letter on the mother's desk and put a post-it there and said, Mommy, please sign here. I'm going to bed. And when mom comes home from work, which is much later, she signed it and put into her school bag for her. And the mom came to me and telling me, Teacher Faith, can you help me look after her? Yeah, I'm very worried that she's like overly stressed by too many things. Yeah, so we have children from extreme spectrum. One that's like who plan too much. and the extreme spectrum is never plan and don't plan. So let's strike a balance to teach them how to plan well. And even for that super responsible kid, I think we need to teach her how to learn to let go of something. It's okay that things don't follow plans. Things that accept surprises in life. Yeah. So to help our children, all our kids, they're all different, to find that balance to do better in life.
Yeah. Well, parenting was never that easy, is it? But then the thing is, we're all there for each other, and definitely we hope that there's a balance in everything that we all do. Okay, and just moving on, sharing with you what it means to the last acronym for A. A means to assess your child's issues. You know, sometimes if your child's not doing well, you know, you ask yourself, is it because he has any learning difficulties? All right. And also, you know, sometimes when the child receives the results, did we spend enough time to read it? Ask yourself, check it, whether whatever issues that he has, is it contextual or is it really the soft issues? Okay, so basically when you receive the results, try to spend some time to read through their results. Okay, understand if the grade is a result of a contextual issue, meaning is it isolated to one subject? Don't just have a blanket over whatever results that they have. Oh, you're not doing well in math, therefore you're not doing well in science and the rest. But you know, sometimes try and figure out whether you can isolate the particular thing or particular struggle that they're having. So it's important actually to look at the information that you have in hand and you know, analyze it from a certain standpoint. Reading test papers sometimes can be difficult for some parents. You know, the good thing is, just want to share with you, you can actually discuss that with your school teachers. If not, I mean, we are here because we have tutors, right? You can also discuss it with your tutors. Because I get a lot of parents coming to me asking me, oh, could you come and have a look at the results, you know? So I'll take a look at it and I'll figure out whether is it a dyslexia problem? Is it an issue with maybe just facts or answering techniques or just concept knowledge? So all these things can be deciphered from reading the test papers results. So it's important that actually we spend the time to look at it so that we pinpoint exactly what some of the issues the child is having, and then we can try, and in Chinese they say 对症下药, right? They say try and figure out whether we can help them like that. Okay, so the thing is, if the child is actually struggling in certain soft skills like what Teacher Faith has mentioned, things like, you know, filing your things, managing, time management, or even things like study skills. Okay, these sort of skill sets can also be known as executive functioning skills. Okay, so it's just such executive functioning skills. The good thing is I feel it can be trained. Okay, it's a matter of pointing them towards the right direction and guiding them properly. So I think these soft skills sometimes can affect some subjects, and in fact every subject too. So just have a look into the test papers and see exactly what some of the issues are. Okay, and then discuss that with your child. Okay, and you know, discuss that with your, as I've mentioned, with your school teacher or the tutor that you've hired for your child. As tutors, we actually see many scripts. We should be able to help you guys navigate through that as well. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question from Mel. Any suggestion to assist child who is diligently highlighting questions but yet missed key points in answering? I guess we have to understand why the child is highlighting. Is it just a motion that they are going through because they have been, you know, told to just go through these steps, right? Yeah. So I guess after highlighting, that's just the motion part, because I used to highlight a lot in my literature text, right? I'm not good with my language, so I highlight a lot. Then the round 2 will be to read, and this time round is to read again and in depth and look at what is the concept, what is the topic behind it, be it math, science, and even English. Yeah. So that's why in math, we use the read and write approach. Like after you have read the first sentence, then we will start to draw a model, or we write down the pointers, like, is it a, you know, some ratio that they give. So the immediate execution will allow us to bring us through the next point and the next point. And similarly for science, as they are highlighting, they've gone through the process, they will start to jot down notes like, what is this topic about? What is the concept involved before jumping in to answer those questions. So these things probably need to be reiterated so that the kid understand why they are doing this. Other issues could be like, maybe because this is quite vague, the statement is quite vague, it could be like transferer issue, or what I would say, maybe your finger need to do some finger pointing, such as you're writing like 169 and not 196, 113 and not 133. So I had a lot of this transfer issue when I was in school. I was very aware my major of my mistakes are all transfer errors. So I developed this finger pointing method. One finger pointing to what I've written and the other finger pointing to the question itself. And I run through it together, and I say it softly under my breath so that I can hear and see what I'm checking on. Okay, I hope that tip helped. Sometimes it's hard to encourage my secondary boy to open up and talk. So my 16-year-old is mildly autistic, and he never spoke. So when he was in primary 5, we went through a lot of emotional meltdowns and issues. And so by primary 6, there was what do you call it, recalibrated what's our expectation for his exams. Okay, focus on his emotional health, but it doesn't mean that it is an excuse. Okay, your learning condition, the condition not an excuse for you to like not study or not do anything, because confidence building is very important. If the child is not confident and then the child feels lousy about himself, he's going to go school and things will not be right for him, right? So we need to help him feel confident. So still do good, do as much as he can for his studies in all areas. But we just have to recalibrate the expectation. Like if his English is always like at a 74, 75 mark, which I know, then I told him, then let's target an A, which is 75. If you could score an A star, that's like a big bonus, but I'm not going to work towards a 91 when all this while you're always scoring between 65 to 75. It's unrealistic, right? And so when he looked at me and said, oh, so I don't need, I thought you want an A star. I said, I thought, yeah. Of course, mommy wants an A star, but that's not realistic, right? So let's work towards that. But your math is always an A star, so nothing less. You must keep the star, Yeah. So we had some discussion, a lot of talks. How did I get him to speak out a lot more in Sec 1? That is the tip, right? Every day when I pick him up from school or I see him at night for dinner, the thing that I ask him would be, tell me something something funny that happened in school. So you do not ask about the schoolwork, you don't ask about the teacher, you don't ask about have you done your homework, have you learned your things here? Don't ask about all this. Every day I only ask one question. Tell me something funny that happened in class. Yes, first day, not much of a response. Second day, no response. Like later on, you prompt him, and then weeks go on, and every day he'll be sharing some silly things that a friend would have done. The teacher, what happened to the teacher, how they tease the teacher for being bald, how they do funny things like throwing eraser at one another and flew out the window. So don't judge and don't comment. Just everybody had a good laugh with the siblings, with the family. Some things are right, some things are wrong, but because you want your child to keep sharing, right? So don't comment. Don't judge at all. He also shared like how he sat at the back row and you could see everybody in front of him play handphone games. And then when the teacher comes, they switch the windows and they look as if they are searching for an English word during English lesson. Then told myself, don't judge, don't comment. I say, so what do you do? Is it, oh, we just laugh it off, lor. Yeah, so it's okay. All right. And there are days where he tells me like, can you make extra 2 sandwiches or extra 3 sandwiches? I say, why? My friends are always hungry. I say, okay, I'll make you half a loaf. Yeah, you can go school and distribute and do whatever you want with it. Just feed the hungry people. Okay. Because you know why? You draw friends. Yeah. And people will start to love him and be with him because he's feeding them. Yeah, so of course, brings me to the point where Gladys mentioned, does he have any learning difficulties in step 1? This is a brave step by parents who dare to take this step to get your child access, to acknowledge and know that if your child is diagnosed with any condition, you are ready to embrace it. So my youngest one had a lot of learning difficulties over the years. He's 11 now. And I sent him for testing. Was it last year? Last year? Last year I sent, last year, end of the year, I sent him for testing because I suspect there's something wrong. I'm repeating the same thing for 7 days. You learn things here for 7 days. How is this possible? And I'm working so hard. I'm not even asking for a full score, but something is wrong with the learning. And of course, I found my answer and I changed the way I teach him. And it really, really worked. Yeah. So yeah, I encourage you parents, if you want to speak to me more, you can email me. Okay. I'll have a private conversation with you. Okay.
Yeah.
We can go to the
So
next slide.
no worries, no worries. Thanks for sharing, Faith. I mean, I was gonna share with this parent that just mentioned about the secondary school boy not opening up. I tell you, you're not alone on this. I mean, we all have secondary school boys, so do I, right? Especially boys, sometimes it can be very difficult to get something out of them. I practice something, and that's called open-ended question. Be very careful. Don't ask those, how are you? Good. How's things? Good. Those kind of questions, it takes practice. And I think most importantly, we must learn to laugh and remember to laugh and smile. That is something that I'm still learning. It's so important for me right now to learn to laugh, because when we laugh, they laugh with you, right? Okay, and yeah, so learning difficulties is also something that I've embarked on and embraced, knowing some of the issues that my children have. We try our best to help them navigate through it. Okay, and a point of acceptance is also very important, right? Okay, so I put a slide here to talk about soft skills, right? So soft skills like these are also something that you can look into. The good news is right now there are lots of literature and help on podcasts and YouTubes to help you navigate through the years, to help you understand how to help them to be empowered to learn what is called time management, task initiation, have some self-control, so on and so forth. I mean, today's topic will not be able to touch on everything, and I may not have all the answers to all these things, but highlighting it and letting us understand will help a great deal in terms of parenting. Yeah. Okay, and then of course they say, a cluttered desk is a cluttered mind. So what we are here also is to help you to, kind of try to teach them things like organization skills. Have you tried taking a look at their bags? And also their bags. Yeah, especially when they are young, right? Their school bags. I always felt like it's important that you actually spend some time to take a look at their school bags and help them to
Not just school bag, even their pencil case. You have to ensure that the pencils are sharpened. They have the correct pen, and if you look into it, the pens, they will switch the color of the ink, right? So you pull out a green pen, but it's a red ink. You put a red pen, it's a black ink.
Yeah, I get it too. Creative. They're being creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So teach them certain skills, recognize certain soft skills that's lacking, and then because we are adults, I'm sure we have certain skill sets to impart to our children. And of course, I think a parent mentioned about study skills, highlighting and everything. Okay. Sometimes, yes, they're highlighting. It's important to just double check that they also remember what they're highlighting. It's not just highlighting. Okay, we can give them things like study guides, but it's also important that we teach them that they have to do questions, because doing questions and test questions will help them to review what they know. Okay, and I find what's most important is to set aside some optimal study time. All right, and optimal study time actually means that try and check on their environment, and are they being distracted by the handphone next to them? Sometimes as parents we come back, we are tired, we want to watch the news, but a little bit of noise can help children of late get distracted. So therefore, it's important that we try to create a good environment for them to study in as well. Look at all those points, that will help them to remember certain things that they are studying, right? Just as an advice. Okay. All right, what we want to say right now is, let's all be a proactive parent, okay, I have some notes here just to share with you to say that, sometimes the problem is a lot of us, we have good intentions. All right, we may be frustrated or worried, then we slip into something we call a helicopter parent. Okay, I mean, what a helicopter parent means is we can actually send the wrong message to our children, our child. Okay, and it becomes an issue when we are actually not helping them in their developing things like resilience, okay, or become more autonomous. Okay, what we are also sending messages is, we telling them that, hey, you can't do without our help. Sometimes it can undermine their nature to be more independent. So navigating through these parenting days would mean that, we take a conscious approach and understand roughly what exactly are we doing for our children. All right, we're not asking ourselves to kind of like manage everything, but as I've mentioned to you, intrinsic motivation, let them have a sense of motivation within them to do well. Okay, yes, it did come from me as a parent, right? Let's try to allow them to fail, to flounder. Sometimes it's okay to let go of certain handlebars and say, if you fail, I'll be there to help you out to navigate through again. Okay, yes, I did say it. Okay, and I'll acknowledge that too. Okay, so it's important for us, therefore, as a parent, to check in regularly on our children, to talk about schoolwork, right? Yes. Figure out homework routines, okay, that doesn't involve constant reminders. All right, let them set their assignments, get their assignments organized, okay, organizing their table, and get them to be ready before they go to bed. Okay, and sometimes our children can spend many hours studying, but they don't see the results. All right, it's also important to understand and acknowledge that sometimes it turns out that they have not kind of actually developed optimal study skills, right? So therefore, it's good to actually help them to navigate and understand what it means to have good study skills. Okay, if you ask me what you mean by good study skills, it's going to take a very, very long hours to talk about it as well. But what we hear is, to kind of send you a gentle reminder to look into some of these skill sets that could be the potential issues after they get back their results, and then help them understand themselves a little bit better, and most importantly, stay positive, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, Faith?
Yes. So at Blue Tree, we have various programs to support you. So amongst us, we have BT students, we have new parents who are new to Blue Tree. So we want to support you better. All right. Like what Gladys said, it's good that we spend time to check in with them, about their mental health, their emotional health, their physical work, their physical bag, their pencil case. Yeah. And take a look at like what they have learned for, the last 3 months in school, the last 6 months in school. How have they been managing? I just spoke with a parent this afternoon, and this kid has been in this tuition center for 1.5 years. The mom never looked into the bag. And when she saw the work, everything was marked correct. But the result that the child got back this exam was 10 upon 100. So shocking. The mom wasn't expecting a result like that when the daily work task was actually marked correct. So it's good that we take time to check in. Even though they're all correct, we need to revisit them to see that the child really totally understand what has been taught. Okay, so Blue Tree has programs for our children, every one of you as well, the public, that we have regular lessons on a weekly basis. And we also have the Marks Accelerator program, which is our holiday program. Yeah, it explains itself, right? Marks Accelerator. So it's an optional choice, and there are a lot of promotions happening now. You can go to our website to take a look at it. And we have the PSRE prep course. We call it the PPC, for the students who want to stretch themselves to get AL1 to AL3. We'll definitely try to push you to AL1 and AL2 for sure. All right, but definitely a lot of hard work put in for this particular course. And at the end of it, when our exams are over, we still have the Head Start Bridging program to help you be prepared for the next year. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Like to share with you. Thanks for staying with us at this moment. Yeah, so our Marks Accelerator program is happening next week during the June holidays. So some of the P6s, I understand that they have to go back to school for some programs, while some of them have arranged it for like last week of June. Okay, so we have some programs happening for P3 right up to Sec 4, English, Math, Science, and Chinese. So just hop to our website and just click on the holiday programs, and you'll be able to see the schedule that's available at different places. Next one, it can be physical and online classes at all our branches. Okay, so Marks Accelerator program. We believe that it is important that the children have, a moment to consolidate their learning. Every day is just like a mad rush, right? They go for school and then rush for the next tuition, and then more trainings, and every day is like that for 7 days. And this June holiday is a time where there's no regular lesson. There's like nothing from school, and there's less rush. Wake up in the morning and hop to one of our centers and have a 2.5-hour lesson, 10 to 12:30, and be refreshed with all the points and all the things that we will impart to the children. Okay, this is a very special promotion that we are extending to our audience tonight. One module that you book, you can key in the code MM10 and you will get a $10.80 off. That's already inclusive of GST. Okay, if you are clicking on 2 modules or more, you will get a 10% discount, plus you must add the code MM30 to enjoy the $32.40 discount. So that's like a double bundle discount. You got what I'm saying? But it has to be 2 modules and above. Yeah, so the more you click, the more you save, right? Yeah, I'm teaching math now. 10% of $100 and 10% of $200. So the more you click, the more you save. If you work out the hours, like the cost, and you divide by the number of hours, you will find that we are cheaper than your home tutor. Very, very cheap. And you get comprehensive notes compiled by our team, like myself. And yeah, because we handpick these questions that they are commonly tested. Not like this question will appear, but more like this concept will appear. So you need to, we know that your child needs to gain mastery in those type of questions to be able to do well. And then again, it's like learning is not like magic, you learn it today and tomorrow you attain mastery. So that's why we start off early. So June, you go for the program, you have time to revisit for the next 3 months until the day when the child can actually say that, hey, I understand these concepts finally and ready to go for his prelims in August. And just 3 weeks later, you'll be the PSLE. Okay, where are we now? We are almost entering June, July, August, 3 months. 3 months. 3 months to prelims. And the last break that you have before prelims would be the National Day, like a 2-day break. That's where you consolidate like last bit of thing. Okay, so we have various programs in Blue Tree. Just get yourself into our mailing list, follow us on Facebook, and so you will be updated on like all the different programs and promotions that's happening. We have primary to secondary classes as well. Okay, if you're not aware. And finally, remember to join us on our social media platform in various the next slide.
This one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so this one, you can join us on our Facebook group. We have various Facebook group. Okay, the main Facebook group, you will get announcements, but you have the primary Facebook Blue Tree Math. Okay, and the other one that says Blue Tree Science, and that's the one that we discuss math question and science question, and that's like a bit informal. Okay, yeah. So parents will take a photo of their child's work and get some comments from the teachers in the team to discuss questions like, oh, why is that option 3 and not 2? Yeah, why is this math question solved this way? Is there an easier way to solve this? Okay, all discussion will happen in there. And join us on follow us on Instagram, and what's the other one called? Telegram. And if you have secondary kids, yes, we have a Blue Tree Academy with a secondary program as well. Okay. Do you have more questions for us? Do you want to see the promo code again? It's MM10 and MM30. That's the next slide. Perfect. Thank you very much. The countdown is very close, dear. It is. Yeah. Somebody posted in my Facebook group, right? That says, we are 15 months away from next year's PSLE. When I saw that, I was like, my heart skipped a bit because my youngest one is 11, right? So we are 15 months away. Okay, I must start now. Not start now like start PSLE paper now, okay? Start the consistency. Start the routine. Start the good habits. Yeah. So habits take a long time to kick in, right? Come back, have lunch, bathe, and then look at phone. No, check the school bag, do the school work, do the tuition work. Okay, take a short break. And then what's next, right? Yeah, dinner. Almost time to go to sleep. Thank you very much for your support. Oh, really? The MM30? Okay, Hui Hua, just drop us an email. Drop us an email at contact@Blue Tree Education. Let us assist you with that, okay?
I think still we have a few parents who had some Q&A funny address. Sometimes when your child actually does a lot of test papers and then they come back not doing too well, as I've mentioned to you before, it's actually important that you look into maybe there are other soft skills, so it's not just always the results, right? So yeah, so just I do encourage you to think a little bit more and look a little bit deeper in terms of some of these other issues that your child may be encountering. Okay, thank you for your questions nonetheless.
So we have been through this where I mean I was an ex-tutor as well, right? Like we just only give exam papers and all, but doing exam papers alone is not enough. All right. You need to have a build-up of skills. I always use cooking as an analogy. All right. You need to know how to cut the garlic, and then you prepare your ingredients, then you cook your fried rice. So once you have attained mastery for your fried rice, then you are ready to learn how to do the omelette. Then you do a couple more dishes. And then the final day will be the banquet lah. Then you invite your in-laws over and everybody to have a party and have a dinner at home, right? So if you're trying to just cook a banquet every day without attaining mastery in the individual dishes, confirm we will mess up. I say we lah because I'm also a wife, right? Right, we'll definitely mess up. But when will we be good at it? Like anytime, they will just give a call and say, Gladys, can I come to your house? And say, Faith, anytime, just come by, right? It's only when we have attained mastery, we have reached a level whereby just throw me exam paper, I can do it. But if your child hasn't attained that mastery, throwing more exam papers is not going to help. Every exam paper has different standards, different concepts. You cannot compare last paper 78%, this paper 89%. They are different papers to start with. So that is why in our MAP program, we also focus on skill set, concept focus, all right, topic focus. And for our regular lessons, we focus a lot on topic, concept, and then later the last 5 weeks or 3 to 5 weeks, then we will do testing, like the wrap up of like everything that has been taught. Okay, but for the P6s, we are almost quite done with our new topics, speed and pie chart. Sorry, what's the other one? Nets, almost done. And then come back from June all the way, practice papers with some infusion of concepts and all. Okay, so take note, parents, when you are doing a lot of practice papers, you really be very, very mindful. Okay, what's the purpose, intention, and where is your child at what level, what marks level? I spoke to another parent early this morning. child not doing very well, I would say focus on paper 1. Yeah. Okay, if your child is like scoring 65 and below, 50 and below, just do a lot of paper 1. A lot of paper 1 and paper 2, 2 and 3 mark question this June. Attain the mastery in, the low hanging fruits. Get a lot of 1 mark, 2 marks and 3 mark questions first. Get them right. Okay. And then you move on to do a little bit of 4 and 5 mark question like a little bit later. You need some balance as well. Okay, some questions for the parents. You see if I can answer them. Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to comment that actually at Blue Tree, we have a team of teachers assisting your child. If you take a lesson from a tutor, we don't just tutor the child. We have a team of people backing us up as well. I'm just sharing with you internally, if we have certain questions that's being asked by a parent, actually we go to the team and we discuss it and we're trying to give the best solution to whatever issues the child is facing as well. So that's one of the main things why we are Blue Tree team. We don't really guide as a tutor than individual tutors. We are all a team, right? So that's what is happening in the back end. And in terms of the questions don't just come out magically. But the team actually comes together to discuss and decide how best to help them score and how best to give them the kind of relevant questions that we are trying to help them to do better in the exams. So if you come on board, do trust us. We know what we are doing because we have vested interest to make sure that your child does well as well. We all want to help the child because they deserve the best, right?
Yeah. A parent asked, what are the topics, math topics that's likely to come up for paper 1? All oh, cannot pick and choose one. Oh, yeah, because there are 30 questions and there are, is it eight big topics, right? Yeah, 8 big categories.
Surely one will be tested. Yeah.
Everyone will be tested.
Yeah, surely. You go and see the PSLE questions. It's like that.
We have done a lot of PSLE booklets. Yeah. So, parents, you can buy, there are 2 types of PSLE booklets, okay, at Popular Bookstore. One is a topical version, which is quite good for just like drilling by topics. And then the other one by yearly paper. So buy both. So this June, practice by topics. And if there's time, then you start to do one PSLE exam paper. Then, a few weeks time, you can start to like give a few more and a few more, because when school starts in term 3, school will be so busy, your child may not have time. But then again, this June holidays, also remember to find time to relax as a family, let your child be a bit more recharged before you charge for term 3 again. Okay, so if you keep working with this kid until the kid is like so tired, you will be burnt out as well, and it will not be good for both of you and everyone at home. So remember, just take a short break, like, I don't know, take a ferry to Bintan, Batam, take a drive to JB, or even a staycation at Sentosa for 2 days or 3 days. That'd be a day where you just like let your hair down and just play. And then after that, you set a timeline like, okay, by Monday or the next Sunday, then we're going to work. We work our schedule again, something like that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, there we go.
Oh, yes. Ivy shared that it's not just you, Ivy, that the child score 95 in P3 and P4, because generally the work is a lot easier. But in P5, suddenly it just dropped to 75. This drop of this 20 marks is like so common. I've seen it for the last 20 years. It's how we control the dip and how we bring the child back to that 90 mark again. That matters a lot, because this journey is going to be not just the academic part. Emotionally, he's very disappointed. He's a little upset already, feeling low self-confidence. We need to build that confidence up and continue to work on the current work as well as revise on the previous work. Your child will get back to his 85, 90 mark with consistent hard work. Yeah, that dip mainly is because your child, if I'm not wrong, this is from what I see in my experience, the child use the P4 effort to work on the P5 work. And so the mark is actually the same. Like a P5 75 is the same as a P4 95 with the same effort. In order to attain 95 at P5, it's like running uphill, running up slope. The amount of work and effort to revise and to do the work is triple the effort, a lot more harder. Okay, so thank you once again. If you do have more questions for us, all right, I can't answer, if I didn't get to answer all your questions tonight, just drop us an email. You can address it to me, Teacher Faith, and I will reply you. Okay, and leave a number if you want me to call you back. Okay, contact@bluetreeeducation.com. How to do that?
I think you might have to type in the email address. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, contact@bluetreeeducation.com. Thank you very much. Wow, we're hanging on strong. We still have 60 parents in the team.
Yeah, we
I'm
want to
so
thank the
encouraged.
parents for their time as well. Yeah, and
Thank you.
yeah, it's been great having you guys.
It really
I
shows
wish you all the best.
Yeah, it really shows that they want to do a lot more for their children. Okay, give me a smile. All right, thank you. Thank you, Gladys.
Thank
It
you.
was great. Our first webinar together. Fantastic. Thank you. We'll have more
See you
webinars.
guys. See you, parents.
Good
We'll see you
night.
at MAP, okay?
Oh, yes. See you
Look
at the
for us.
MEP.
Yeah.
Do you have a sample timetable after school? Oh, there are a lot more questions on the other little chat.
On the other chats, right? I saw, yeah. Sometimes it can take a little while. Those parents who are still around with the questions, I think MAP is always suitable for everyone. I'm just addressing the last one. I always have this,
A parent
understanding that
asks,
it's better understanding MAP. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're still around. It says that my child is failing math and taking PSLE this year, suitable for MAP. Email me. Okay, we will have some conversations before we find the best plan for your child. How can we help since they didn't go for a full mid-year paper? Yeah, maybe you want to print an old test paper from a couple of years ago and use it as a mini test. Yeah. When we see WA result, can we say it is just a fraction of their potential?
Yeah.
Well, if it's like a P5 work and it's 30 marks or a P6 work and 30 marks, I'm a little worried if the child scored 20 out of 30. Right? Yeah, if it's 30, right, then we should be talking about like 28 and above for a comfortable score if it's a full paper. If it's only a 30 marks and the child is scoring 20 and less, that means on a full 100-mark paper, the child is going to struggle a little bit with the stamina. Okay. Yeah, is there really a need to know the topic before answering science question? Yes, that will help a lot because the use of the keywords related to that topic. Okay. All right. So drop us an email. I will try to answer your questions and speak to you soon. Okay.
Yes. Good
All
night, everyone.
right. Good night. Thank you, Gladys. Bye-bye.